Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the press conference of the State Council Information Office. Today, we are releasing the white paper on China's law-based cyberspace governance in the new era. And we're holding this press conference to present its main contents. The white paper is an implementation of Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with China's characteristics for the new era and the principles and decisions of the 20th CPC Congress. It is centered on Xi Jinping's thought on the rule of law and General Secretary Xi Jinping's important remarks on boosting China's strength in cyberspace. It presents the progress since the 18th Party Congress in China's cyber legislation, law enforcement and judiciary work, as well as in promoting legal literacy and awareness through the Internet. It also outlines China's engagement in international exchange and cooperation in this field, and the Chinese insights and solutions that contributed to global Internet governance. The white paper consists of the preface, the body part, and the conclusion. The Chinese version has about 18,000 Chinese characters. The body part consists of 6 parts, namely, upholding the rule of law in cyberspace, consolidating the legal system for cyberspace governance, keeping order in the rules-based cyberspace, defending fairness and justice in cyberspace, promoting public awareness and competence in law-based cyberspace governance, and increasing international exchanges and cooperation in law-based cyberspace governance. The white paper is published in Chinese, English, French, Russian, German, Spanish, Arabic, and Japanese languages by the People's Publishing House and the Foreign Languages Press. It is released through the Xinhua bookstores across the nation. To better present the content of this white paper, we have invited Ms. Cao Shuming, Vice Minister of the Cyberspace Administration of China, to give you a briefing and take your questions. Also present today are Mr. Yue Zhongming, Director of the Economic Law Department of the Legislative Affairs Commission of the NPC Standing Committee, Mr. Wang Xiaoguang, Director General of the Bureau of Law Popularization and the Rule of Law of the Ministry of Justice, and Mr. Li Changxi, Director General of the Bureau of Law-based Cyberspace Governance of the Cyberspace Administration of China. I now give the floor to Ms. Cao Shuming.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. It's a great pleasure to attend today's press conference and introduce to you the white paper on China's law-based cyberspace governance in the new era. This is also China's first white paper on China's law-based cyberspace governance. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has attached great importance to advancing the rule of law on cyberspace and made major arrangements for it. China has made historical achievements in its rule of law advancements on cyber. The white paper systematically concluded China's philosophy and practices in promoting rule of law advancement after China achieved a fully functional connection to the Internet in 1994, and in particular in the new era. The paper contributes China's solutions and insights to the global cyber governance. I'd like to brief you on the paper's contents from 3 aspects. First, the paper expounds on China's philosophy of its rule of law advancement on cyber. The first is to always put people first. When advancing the rule of law on cyber, we always care about and uphold people's will, rights, and interests so as to enhance people's sense of gain, happiness, and security. The second is to promote the development of the Internet. The essence of law-based cyberspace governance is to ensure its healthy and orderly development. With law-based cyberspace governance as the fundamental measure, we will promote the innovative development of the Internet on the track of the rule of law. The third is to base our measures on national conditions. In light of China's Internet development realities, we will strike a balance between development and security, between freedom and order, between openness and autonomy, and between management and service. A law-based thinking and methods will be used to address the problems of the internet development. The fourth is to drive innovation. We will focus on the new situation and problems facing the rule of law advancement on cyber in the new era, accelerate all-round innovation in the concept, content, and methods of cyber rule of law, and comprehensively improve the effectiveness of internet management. The fifth is to pursue openness and cooperation. We will engage in the designing of international rules for cyberspace and the international cooperation on the rule of law, draw on advanced experience of other countries and form an internet governance model with Chinese characteristics and in line with common international practices. Second, the paper systematically summarizes the achievements of China's cyber rule of law advancement in the new era. The first is the accelerated cyber legislation. More than 140 pieces of legislation in the field of cyberspace have been formulated and introduced, forming a cyber legal system with the Constitution as a foundation, laws and regulations to support, traditional legislation a basis, and special cyber legislation a pillar. The main pillars have been built. The second is stronger cyber law enforcement. We have cracked down on illegal collection and use of personal information, online infringement and piracy. We've carried out law enforcement against monopoly and unfair competition in the field of platform economy and launched a series of special campaigns to maintain a clean online environment. The third is more in-depth internet justice. We've improved rules of internet justice, established internet courts, and promoted digital prosecutorial work. We've cracked down on online crimes in accordance with the law, strengthened the protection of people's, and in particular the minors' online rights and interests. The fourth is greater public awareness of the law raised through the internet. Such new model has been explored to raise public awareness via online media. Netizens have seen their knowledge and awareness of the rule of law significantly strengthened. Third, the paper presents China's engagement in relevant international cooperation. The first is its engagement in rule designing. We've firmly upheld the international system with the UN at its core and supported all countries in participating on an equal footing in advancing international cyber rule of law and in formulating regional rules. The second is its engagement in extensive exchanges. We've strengthened law enforcement and judicial cooperation in combating cyber terrorism, strengthened cooperation with UNICEF and other organizations to protect the online rights and interests of minors. The third is its engagement in building dialogue platforms. China has facilitated exchanges through the World Internet Conference, playing a positive role in enhancing mutual understanding and trust among countries. The CPC's 20th National Congress has made new arrangements for boosting China's strength in cyberspace and advancing the rule of law in China. China is ready to work with the international community to implement the principle of co-consultation, contribution, and shared benefits, and jointly promote the rule of law in global international governance. And now I would like to join my colleagues from relevant departments to answer your questions. And now the floor is open to your questions. And please, before you raise your question, identify your affiliation.
Legal Daily. The white paper fully summarized China's philosophies and practices on law-based cyberspace governance since its full connection to the internet, especially since the new era. What are the main considerations for releasing this white paper? Thank you. I'll take your question. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core led efforts to comprehensively advance law-based governance and boost China's strength in cyberspace, put forth a series of new philosophies, thinking, and strategies which formed the Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law and General Secretary Xi Jinping's important theories on boosting strength in cyberspace. This has guided our law-based cyberspace governance and achieved integrated progress in legislation, law enforcement, judicial work, and public awareness of cyberspace law. We have also engaged in international exchange and cooperation and embarked on a path of law-based cyberspace governance that is in keeping with international common practice and with Chinese characteristics. Releasing this white paper will help present a full picture of China's law-based cyberspace governance to the international and domestic readers and share our experience. Thank you. Cover news. In the first decade of the new era, China has been advancing the rule of law, including in the internet and other emerging fields. What progress has been made in law formulation in this area? Thank you. I will give this question to Director Yue Zhongming from the NPC Standing Committee Legislative Affairs Commission. Thank you. Since the 18th CPC Congress, the NPC and its Standing Committee worked to implement the decisions and plans of the Party Central Committee on boosting China's strength in cyberspace and building a digital China. And we have attached great importance to cyber legislation and improved the relevant institutions and regulations. We have now initially established a well-functioning legal system for the cyberspace, and our legislative work has yielded notable outcomes. In so doing, we have provided a solid legal safeguard for the sustained healthy development of the Internet. Over the past decade, we have formulated 5 specialized laws. The first one is the cybersecurity law in 2016, which puts in place a real name registration system and establishes the systems and mechanisms for protecting the security of online products and services, network functioning, and key infrastructure of information, so as to safeguard cyber and information security. The second is the e-commerce law in 2018, which fully regulates e-commerce operations, specifies the responsibilities of e-commerce platform operators and the vendors using the platforms, safeguards fair competition, and protects consumer rights and intellectual property rights. Third one is the data security law in 2021. This law addresses the risks in data security, establishes and improves the systems for category-based management of data, risk monitoring, early warning, and emergency handling, and data security review. At the same time, it provides for the regulations on the measures to promote data security and development, as well as the disclosure and use of government data. In this way, it helps enhance China's ability to safeguard data security and promote the effective use of data. The fourth is the law on protection of personal information in 2021, which focuses on the major concern of the people. Building on the previous laws, it further improved and refined the principles in protecting personal information and the rules for handling such information. It establishes the boundary of the rights and obligations in handling personal information, reinforces the institutions and mechanisms for such protection so as to truly protect the people's right to personal information. The fifth is the anti-telecom and online fraud law in 2022. This law fully establishes a comprehensive management system for telecommunications, financial, and internet, as well as other sectors. It is a targeted, specialized law dedicated to combating telecom and online fraud. It helps prevent, curb, and punish such frauds, providing an important legal underpinning for our work in this field. Apart from these above-mentioned laws, the MPC Standing Committee has also been working to extend traditional laws and regulation to the cyberspace. In recent years, we have amended a few laws, including the law on protecting consumer rights, the law on food safety, the advertisement law, the law on protecting the minors, the anti-unfair competition law, and anti-monopoly law. They are aimed to protect consumer rights in online transactions, identify the responsibility regarding food safety in online platforms, unfair competition and monopoly in the cyberspace, and other issues. At the same time, by compiling the civil code and formulating the criminal law amendment, we have provided for the provisions to protect civil rights online and combating new types of cybercrimes. Thank you.
好，下一个问题，中间第3排这位男士吧。
谢谢主持人，我是红星新闻记者。
Red Star News. During the two sessions this year, multiple deputies have suggested to formulate special laws on cyber violence. The Cyber Administration of China has also released a relevant notice. What measures will be taken further to curb cyber violence?
Thank you for your question. And I would like to invite DG Li Changxi to answer this question. It's a very good question. Recently, cases of cyber violence have attracted the society's great attention. Competent departments attached great importance to it and carried out campaigns against it. Last November, Cyberspace Administration of China released the notice on strengthening the governance of cyber violence, and many key online platforms faithfully deliver the requirements and establish the prevention and control mechanism of cyber violence. They intercepted and sorted out 28.75 million pieces of information related to cyber violence, prompted internet users to post appropriate messages for 1.65 million times, sent one-click protection reminders to 28,000 users, severely published more than 22,000 accounts of perpetrators, and effectively prevented the risk of cyber violence in hotspot issues. Recently, the Department of the Internet and Information Technology has instructed several key platforms to publish guidelines on internet violence prevention, which help internet users quickly and effectively prevent internet violence from multiple dimensions, such as risk warning, one-click protection, private message protection, and reporting complaints. For the next step, the Internet and IT departments will continue to urge websites and platforms to earnestly fulfill the main responsibilities of Internet violence control, regularly release the prevention and control of Internet violence, and safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of netizens. We have also noted that during the two sessions, deputies and members of the NPC and CPPCC put forward proposals on combating cyber violence and creating a sound online environment, and many deputies and members strongly called for the accelerated introduction of targeted legislation on cyber violence. These suggestions are very meaningful. After careful study, at present, relevant legislation such as the Civil Code, criminal law, public security management and punishment law, and other comprehensive legislation, as well as the law on the protection of minors, the law on the protection of women's rights and interests, the law on the protection of heroes and martyrs, and other special legislation, and the Supreme People's Court and the Supreme People's Procurator's judicial interpretations on defamation, infringement of personal information, and infringement of personal rights and interests have all made relevant provisions on cyber violence. However, the existing legal regulations still have problems such as weak pertinence, poor connectivity, and low effectiveness. The effective system implementation still falls short of the expectations of the people. For the next step, from the perspective of cyber violence information governance, we will further strengthen the establishment of rules and regulations, promulgation of relevant departmental regulations, and actively carried out research in relevant departments to promote formulation of a more perfect legal system, strengthen the protection and relief of the parties, and respond to the opinions of the public. Thank you.
请大家继续提问。左边第二排这位女士。
谢谢主持人，中央广播电视总台央视记者提问。
CCTV.
问题是中国全功能接入国际互联网还不到30
It has been less than 30 years since China had a fully functional connection to the Internet, but China has made a great achievements. What's China's experience in that?
Thank you. I will take this question. China's rule of law in the cyberspace has produced valuable experience from its practice and innovations. First, upholding the party's overall leadership. The party exercises leadership over the management of the Internet, including the whole process and all aspects of this work, so as to ensure that our work goes along the right political direction. Second, putting the people first. The rule of law in cyberspace directly bears on the over 1 billion Internet users and the 1.4 billion Chinese people. We have taken a series of special campaigns to combat cybercrimes and redoubled efforts to curb online pornography, disinformation, cyber violence, abuse of algorithm, teenage video game addiction, and other prominent issues, to foster a safe, fair, healthy, civilized, and clean online environment for the people. Third, following a path of law-based cyberspace governance with Chinese characteristics, we have based our work in the reality of China's Internet development, formulated the cybersecurity law, data security law, the law on protection of personal information, e-commerce law, and anti-fraud law. These are fundamental, comprehensive, and overarching laws that establish the rules and legal system for the digital economy and protection of cyber online rights. It has drawn up the red lines for cybersecurity, improved the online environment, and made our institutions in various aspects more mature. Fourth, appreciating the underlying law of our work, we have coordinated the relations between the development and security, between freedom and order, between openness and autonomy, and between management and services. We have balanced our attention to both domestic management and international standards. So far, China has 1.06 billion internet users, and in 2021, China's digital economy has reached a scale of 45.5 trillion yuan. It is a main driver of our economic growth. Now, the scale of our mobile Internet of Things has exceeded that of the Chinese population. We have established the world's biggest cutting-edge network of optic fiber broadband and 5G, on generating an enormous, extensive, and vibrant cyber society. Fifth, pursuing innovation. We have been pursuing innovation in terms of philosophy, content, and methods, improving rules on new technology and new frontiers, establishing rules for deep synthesis, algorithm-based recommendation, and other new emerging technologies. We also use information technology to empower traditional justice to bring the knowledge of law directly to the people. Sixth, pooling strength. We have taken a holistic approach to fully unleash the initiative and creativity of various government departments, local governments, enterprises, and netizens, advance the rule of law on the development and management of online content, improve the rule of law regarding cybersecurity and IT application to keep our internet development on the track of the rule of law. Such experience is an important safeguard for our efforts to promote the rule of law comprehensively in the new era and boost China's strength in cyberspace. We will stick to these good practices. Southern Metropolis. The Internet has become a new space for study, work, and life, and has become a new channel for legal awareness promotion. Legal awareness promotion is a fundamental work for law-based cyberspace governance. What has been done in this area since the 18th Party Congress?
Thank you for your question, and DG Wang Xiaoguang will take your question. Thank you for your care about our cyber legal education. After the 18th CPC National Congress, the Ministry of Justice and the National Office for Legal Education faithfully abide by the Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law and his important theory on boosting China's strength in cyberspace. They organize different localities and departments to conduct the cyber legal education and enhance people's awareness on the cyber rule of law. Here I wish to use 4 keywords to brief you on this work. First, institutions. The institution design for cyber legal education has been improved. After the 4th plenary session of the 18th CPC Central Committee, we are required to make better use of the new media and new technology for cyber legal education. And according to the 7th five-year plan on legal education, and also the 8th five-year plan on legal education, we will use intelligent methods for the legal education. And second, platforms. Many online platforms function better on public legal education. For example, 学习强国, People.com, Xinhua.net, and Legal Daily all established their legal education column. And the Ministry of Justice share more information with China Court Trial Online, China Judgments Online, so on and so forth. Currently, many Weibo, WeChat official accounts and some other video accounts reached over 30,000, and in 2022, there are in total 667 million views on the WeChat official accounts, with over 30 million subscribers. Third, products. The supply of products of cyber legal education have been more diverse. We've used illustrations, comics, short videos, online streaming, and online music, as well as other channels to conduct the online legal education. And through different channels, we instruct the public with knowledge and give explanation of relevant laws so as to promote the socialist rule of law. Fourth, activities. We've carried out the legal education both online and offline. At important dates such as National Constitution Publicity Week and National Security Education Day, as well as the Civil Code Publicity Month, different localities and departments carry out diverse and interesting legal education activities. The relevant departments also follows the principle of those in charge of law enforcement should be in charge of legal education and carried out a series of activities. And in particular, they use typical cases to illustrate the laws for combating illegal and bad information and infringement of personal information. The legal education has made much more people aware of cyber laws and people's obligation and rights, individual freedom and social responsibility have been integrated, and more people respect, study, and observe the cyber laws. Thank you very much.
好，请大家继续提问。来这边第二排。
People.com. It is mentioned in the white paper that the main pillars of the cyber legislation have been established. What are the main features of cyber legislation in the new era, and what improvements can be made in the future? Thank you for your question. And DG Li Changxi will take your question. It's a good question because an important and integral part of cyberspace governance is cyber legislation. We've enacted laws on e-commerce, e-signature, cybersecurity, data security, and personal information protection, which are fundamental, comprehensive, and macro-level laws. And these laws have the following three features. First, more comprehensive legislation. Previously, the cyber legislation was mainly about administrative regulations and departmental rules, such as regulations on the security protection of computer information systems and regulations on the protection of personal information of telecom and internet users. Now we also have the laws on cybersecurity, data security, and personal information protection. We have more fundamental and comprehensive laws. Second, more science-based and democratic legislation. Cyber requires legislation to be more technical, to evolve rapidly, to cover more areas and objects, and to solve new problems. These are the new challenges. Only science-based and democratic legislation can help us to solve the problems emerging from cyber development. The NPC Standing Committee and the State Council, as well as other competent departments, always keep the relevant drafts open to the society and hold discussions and hearings to listen the opinions from the government, enterprises, and experts so as to achieve a sound governance and development. Third, the innovative and leading role by cyber legislation. China attaches great importance to the future-oriented feature of cyber legislation, and we always look into the new legislation for new challenges and new problems. The cyber legislation needs to catch up with the realistic needs and the technological development. For example, the law on data security makes a breakthrough start of China's data security governance law, giving the top-level institutional design on classification and the protection of important data, as well as the data security review. It has provided China's insights and proposals for other countries and regions. For the next step, we will continue to make cyber legislation an integral part of socialist legal system with Chinese characteristics. We will fulfill the requirements stipulated in the report to the 20th CPC National Congress, i.e. the law-based national governance on all fronts and better legislation in key emerging and foreign-related fields. And we will coordinate development and supervision and to establish all-round cyber legislation system and to improve the legislation in terms of data, platform, and technology. Thank you.
左边第3排黑色上衣这位女士吧。
谢谢发言人。总台国广提问。刚刚叶主任
China Radio International. Just now, Director Yue mentioned that in 2022 we enacted the law against telecom and cyber fraud.
制定这部法是出于什么考虑？
What is the major consideration for enacting that law? And what kind of measures have been taken in such respect?
Thank you. I think this question is for Mr. Yue. Thank you for your question. Telecom and online fraud has been rampant and is a major concern of the people. We have adopted a problem-oriented, results-oriented, and targeted approach, taken a systematic view, addressed the problem at its source and in a holistic way, and addressed the personnel chain, information chain, technology chain, and funding chain, giving rise to telecom and online fraud in an all-round manner. The main measures include the following aspects. First, defining the responsibilities of various parties. It identified clearly the responsibilities of different government departments, enterprises, and different links. Those who do not carry out their duties will be punished. Second, stepping up punishment for such frauds and putting in place punitive and preventive measures for criminals committing such crimes. It tackles the fraud-related industries. Third, the law strengthens sector-specific governance. As for the prominent issues on each chain, the law has provided for the relevant institutions and provisions to plug the loopholes, establish mechanisms, and specify punitive measures for non-compliance by each type of offenses. Fourth, strengthening anti-fraud technology and facilitate information sharing on fraud risks. And providing technological support for curbing such frauds. Fifth, rallying a concerted efforts. The law helps mobilize resources and strength of various parties, stipulates their respective rights, duties, and obligations, and fosters an anti-fraud culture in society. So these are the 5 main aspects I'd like to brief you about. Thank you.
这边第3排。
Science and Technology Daily. New technology and new applications is an engine for the prospering of the Internet, but also a difficult issue to address. What experience can China share in this area?
Thank you for your question. This is a question to many people's interests, and I want to invite DG Li Changxi to take your question. Thank you for your care about the new technology and their application. In order to supervise the new technologies in accordance with law, we need to proceed from the overall picture of the national and social development. We need to adapt to the realities and to analyze the current situation and adapt to the trend of the new technologies. We need to improve the rules, regulations, and mechanisms so as to ensure that the new technology will better serve the high-quality social and economic development. First, to enhance coordination, we need to make sure that we have legal-based development and supervision of new technology and their application. We need to focus on the development and improve our supervision institution mindset and approach. We need to carry out a new supervision pattern that will be conducive to innovative development and fair competition, so as to enhance coordination among government, management, company responsibility fulfillment, social supervision, and netizens' self-management. We need to pursue the global governance featuring extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, and engage in the global governance of the new technology. Second, we need to improve the supervision foundation. According to the new needs, we need to amend relevant laws and to establish special laws for specific fields and have future-oriented risk analysis. And we need to improve and establish the rules for supervision applicable to all fields of technology. Third, to improve supervision mechanisms. New technology concern different subjects and complicated situations. We need to have a supervision system covering multiple levels and dimensions, which is a whole chain, whole field supervision, to make it a comprehensive supervision mechanism with the utmost coordination and alignment, and to explore and promote the new types of supervision mechanism. The fourth is to innovate supervision approaches. New technologies are ever evolving and getting hybrid, so we need to have classified supervision. We need to improve our progressive supervision tools, and we will highlight prior oversight, strengthen access licensing, technology filing, and dynamic evaluation, and to limit the risks brought about by technological development to an acceptable range. We will adhere to the principle of use technology for technology and use new generation of information technology to improve and innovate existing regulation tools and promote the transformation of regulatory tools into digital and intelligent ones. Thank you. Bohemian Magazine. The public is not only the recipient but also the participator in the legal education. How to encourage more people in this course? Thank you for your question. And this is a question that concerns everyone. It's about legal education. And I will invite DG Wang Xiaoguang to take your question. Thank you for your question. It's a good question. And we know that China is the country with the world's most netizens. Legal education is the work all about people. It has to reach out to every individual. And so does our work. Cyberspace has been a major arena and the greatest driver for legal education. Since the 8th five-year plan of legal education, we've always stick to the people-centered approach and always use typical cases to popularize knowledge of the law and value the role played by cyberspace as an interactive, immediate service platform. And we've changed that one-way legal lecturing into a kind of education with interactions, services, and different scenarios. The public are not only just the onlookers, but also the participator, supporter, and promoter. We've recognized that our work has its greatest strength lying in the people and lying in the cyberspace. Here I have two examples. First, the Ministry of Justice has its official WeChat account. And on each year's Constitution Publicity Week and Civil Code Publicity Month, as well as other important dates, the account organized special quiz activities related to the Constitution and Civil Code. In 2022, in total, over 1.7 billion people engaged in the activities. The official account interacted with the netizens and organized many special activities such as displaying selected comments, collecting netizens' ideas of legal education, and carrying out special Spring Festival quiz. People have stronger, therefore, sense of participation, experience, and ultimately the sense of gain and happiness. And now we are organizing the quiz activity on the criminal law on this account, and anyone interested can participate in it. Second, Ministry of Justice and National Office of Legal Education, together with Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee and Cyberspace Administration, now are organizing short video campaign on legal education and to encourage the netizens to make the videos, and we collect the works online. The selected videos will be showcased online. These works are from the netizens and for the netizens, from the society and for the society. I think this is the mass line, the new era for our legal education work. Thank you. China Daily. It is mentioned in today's white paper that China's rule of law advancement is the one with the Chinese characteristics. And we've also noticed that recently we've enacted the laws on data security and cyberspace security, so on and so forth. Does it mean that China is vying for a greater say in rule setting of cyber governance and is promoting the Chinese-style internet cyberspace governance?
Thank you for your question. It's a question of great interest from many. Let me take your question. The rule of law is an important outcome of human advancement, and it's become a global consensus to apply law-based thinking and approaches based on an understanding of the rule of law. At the same time, countries have different national conditions, political systems, and cultural backgrounds. And therefore, each country has the right to choose its own path of internet governance and development that suits itself. China has always based its work on its basic national condition that it is the biggest developing country and has the most internet users. We adapted to the trend of the information era, borrowed from the good practices of other countries, thus developing a path that has Chinese characteristics and in line with international common practice. China's advancement of rule of law in the cyberspace has enhanced our ability to manage the internet and has also contributed to the global internet governance. The world may take different forms in their rule of law, and each country should and will find a path that suits its own realities. As the Chinese saying goes, all flowers in full blossom make a beautiful spring. We will continue to follow the guidance of the vision of General Secretary Xi Jinping on building a community with a shared future in cyberspace and enhance the legal underpinning for reforming the global internet governance system and building such a community in cyberspace. We will respect cyber sovereignty, respect each country's choice of cyber development path and cyber management model, as well as their right to equally participate in global cyberspace governance. We will work with all countries to explore effective ways for the internet to make life better for the people and yield more influential, distinctive, and effective outcomes from the practice of the rule of law, so as to make the cyberspace more fair, equitable, open, inclusive, secure, stable, and vibrant. Thank you. That is the end of the press conference. Thank you all for coming.